Hey there, Sart here. I just wanted to follow up on the video that I posted yesterday doing the FTKO clear against Death Machine Advanced, and that one was just me having a bit of fun just to see if I could actually pull it off. It's not something that I necessarily thought people would want to try to replicate. Now, in the process of working towards that clear, I initially started on a two-turn clear strategy, and then I kind of worked my way up to the first turn clear, and I realized after I finished the FTKO that a two-turn strategy is actually very viable to do in all missions clear, and might be more accessible to a wider audience. I'm not really sure. We'll see. I'm going to show you this two-turn strategy that does an all missions clear against the Death Machine. So if you haven't done this trial yet, you've either been waiting around, you haven't really, just had the time or whatever, and you finally want to get around to finishing this one now that it's been power crept into oblivion. Well, this is your chance. And so it's a very similar team to what we saw yesterday. We've taken one unit out so we can do an all missions clear. We've thrown Esther in there, which makes me so happy that we get to use my best bunny girl here. But we're going to keep Kaito, we're going to keep our Chizuru, and we're going to keep our Golbez, of course. Golbez is the king of quick clears these days. And so I'm going to go ahead and show you the gear now, because this is a fairly stable strategy, and it gets the job done. It doesn't rely nearly as much on variance as my clear yesterday did, so I have no trouble showing you the gear ahead of time. The biggest thing is just you need to make sure that that everyone has one stack of guts, meaning they escape death with 1 HP. And then Kaito needs to be your passive provoke unit. So Kaito he's going to do the exact same thing he did yesterday, pretty much, but he is my passive provoke unit, so I gave him the Dancer's Diadem of Will for that 100% passive provoke. He doesn't need anything else except for a form of guts. That's why I gave him Lucid Lenses. And when I say guts, in case you're unfamiliar with that term, it just means the escape death. It needs to have an activation rate of 100%, and then, yeah, the threshold doesn't really matter. If it's HP above 1%, 5%, 30%, doesn't really matter, because they're all starting with 100% HP, so you're always going to trip the threshold on this one. It just needs to have an activation rate of 100%, and that's what's important. So whatever source of guts you have, put it on Kaito, and then make sure he's 100% passive provoke. So if you need Moogle charms or whatever you need to get him there, that's what you need. And he's going to die on turn 1. He's our sacrificial lamb. He's just there for the breaks and the Katana in peril. That's all we need him for. Esther is she is built for full-on damage, because she's going to do her LB on turn 2 to finish off the fight. And then on turn 1, she's just going to do her Imperil. She's going to do the AoE machine killers for everybody, and then set up the Great Sword Imperil on the Death Machine to go in for the kill on turn 2. So yeah, she's just stacked with lots of damage. Again, Lucid Lenses for the guts. And then, yep, just damage. She hits machine killer so easily, so I gave her some GF extension and Dream of Faith for the Esper stat boosts there. And then, of course, her own vision card. Sylvie doesn't need anything except for a form of guts. She's going to be in her Brave Shift form the whole time, so I gave her Chocobo Feather. That also comes with Escape Death with a 1% HP threshold, so good to go there. Other than that, you don't really need to give her anything else. She's just there for the buffs, the lightning amps, and the sword imperil for Golbez. Chizuru in her Brave Shift form, again, just as much damage as I could stuff in there, and then Lucid Lenses again for the guts. And then, yeah, a couple of sources of machine killers. Again, pretty much the same build you saw yesterday. Prodigious Performer, that's for the chain cap increase, just to get that little bit of damage out of her LB. And then, of course, a Cool Smile vision card. So yeah, this vision card is, dare I say, this vision card is required in order to do a quick clear like this, because you have to kill the ads on turn 1. Well, I should say you have to kill Searcher A on turn 1. Because Searcher A is the one that puts up the 90% mitigation on the Death Machine. And so if you kill Searcher A, but you don't kill Searcher B, that's actually okay. We can deal with that. Because Searcher B, all the Searcher B does is just heal the boss a little bit. Searcher A is the one that puts up the mitigation, so we gotta get rid of that one on turn 1, no matter what. All right. And then Golbez. So what, you know, I mentioned that my friends built me some Golbezes for this yesterday. And so Finney built one that has the Chocobo Feather accessory for the guts on Golbez. And then otherwise just built for straight up damage. There's the Pixie Dust, his armor, Magister's Crown for the chain cap up, Azure Dawn for the high mag sword. And then, yeah, just lots of machine killers in here. So I think he's up there, 300% machine. Yep, he's good to go. Yeah, ready to rock and roll. So another very strong Golbez friend here. Now, obviously, since this is we're doing this a 5-man mission, you don't necessarily need to have a Golbez friend for this one. If you have the gear to build your Golbez as strong as the one that you see here, you can just put your Golbez in that 5th slot there, and they will be perfectly fine. You can give them something like the Alexander Esper for that extra bit of machine killer if they need it. And there you go. So let's go ahead and get in here and see how we get this done in 2 turns, all missions clear. All right, so we're going to start off with Kaito, and so Kaito is going to do Deep Submersion, Crashing Wave, and then Deep Submersion again. So what we're going to do here is Kaito wants to put the Katana Imperil on both of the Searchers. Right now, if you remember, I said Searcher A is more important than Searcher B. Right, so we're going to start with Searcher A. We're going to tap Kaito, and then as soon as we tap Kaito, we're going to then switch to Searcher B. And that sort of gap between the 2 Katana Imperils, where he's casting Crashing Wave, will make sure that both Searchers get the Katana Imperil. All right, so here we'll start with Searcher A. I'll tap Kaito. All right, then I'm going to move over to Searcher B. All right, so now both of the Searchers have the Katana Imperil. Right, and the breaks are AoE, so everyone gets the breaks no matter what. But yeah, now he's got the Katana Imperil. Very good. All right, and he's got the Katana Imperil as well. Yep, very good. All right, now Esther will do True Stormbrand. That does the 135% Lightning Imperil on on all enemies. Energizing Bunny does a 120% Machine Killer for all allies. And then Calm Before the Storm to put the Great Sword Imperil on the Death Machine. That's so that we can kill it on the following turn. All right, Sylvie will do Paladin's Offense for the buffs. Clever Paladin Strike for the Sword Imperil on the Death Machine. And then Marion's Blessing Lightning for the Lightning Imbue with the 50% amp. That amp will go up to 75% next turn. All right. Now, 2 things have to happen on this turn, right? So we're going to do our burst here. 2 things have to happen for this to be successful. The first thing is Searcher A must die, all right? Searcher A has to die on this turn, or else you need to start over and come back and try it again. The other thing that has to happen is the Death Machine must go below 50% HP, because what that's going to do is that's going to change the Death Machine's AI so that it does one AoE fixed attack and then 1 single target fixed attack. The AoE fixed attack, everyone's going to guts through that, and so everyone will survive it, and then Kaito will provoke the single target fixed attack and die, and that's fine. All right, we don't care if Kaito dies. He is a willing sacrifice in this plan. All right, but everybody else needs to survive. So I'm going to focus on the Searcher A just to watch its HP. As long as Searcher A dies, even if Searcher B survives, that's fine. Searcher A needs to die. That is the most important thing. So let's go ahead and see how we do this. right, boom, Searcher A died. Death Machine is below 50%. Sweet, we are good to go. All right, so there you go. Sorry, Kaito, thank you for your willing sacrifice. You are awesome, Kaito, thank you. All right, so you see Chizuru does not have her LB. That's okay. That's what Sylvie's here for. I got your back to Chizuru. And then just a couple of carrying Paladin strikes. That's just to give a little bit more MP for Golbez. So Golbez's Meteor is obviously not going to be as strong on this turn, but it's still something. And so we're just going to use it to make sure that we finish off the boss. All right, so Esther's ready to go. The boss does not have the Katana Imperil, but that's okay. He's got a great Sword Imperil for Esther, and Esther's going to slaughter this thing, and still has the Sword Imperil for Golbez. So we are ready to kill on turn 2. Here we go. Yep, easy peasy. All right, and that's how we take care of Death Machine in 2 turns. All missions clear. No problem. All right, let's see how the damage shakes out. Golbez will probably, again, be the big winner here. Yeah, wow, Chizuru actually came in very, very close. She, of course, got 2 full bursts. But still, yeah, I mean, Chizuru is very, very impressive when she's got that cool Smile Vision card. And yeah, she is just a stacked DPS unit. She is just really, really strong. But Golbez, of course, showing off that, you know, even Neovision Awakened units can come back, can make a huge comeback and a huge splash in this game. This is why we need more Neovision Awakened units, because, you know, it makes it so much more fun for a wider audience. I know, you know, I know it cuts into Gumi's bottom line, of course, to just revive Neovision Awakened units that can do insane damage like this, but man, it makes the game so much more fun, in my opinion. But yeah, so that's how we get it done. And thank you guys so much for watching. Hope this was helpful to you guys, or at least entertaining. And stick with me. I might do some more fun clears like this with Golbez of some older trials. I was thinking maybe Belphegor would be a good one to focus on next. You know, using maybe like Tsukiko for an Imperial Field and Golbez to just, you know, destroy the thing in maybe 1 or 2 turns. So we'll see how that goes, and maybe I'll post a few more videos. If there's anything you guys would like to see with, you know, with the Chrono Cross event coming up and pretty much being done with Clash of Wills, there's not going to be a whole lot for me to do next week, so I'll be twiddling my thumbs a bit. If there's anything you guys would like to see me do, definitely drop drop some requests in the comments below. I'm happy to follow up on those and try and do some of those for you guys. So thank you so much for following me, and I will see you on the other side.